West News, Florida, and we're in the Gaylord Palms in Orlando. And I have a distinguished guest of mine, I've known for 4 years now, Dr. Boxer. And Dr. Boxer hails from, if your local name would be Grow Healthy.
Yes.
But also another title with the parent company, which is...
Right, I'm Chief Medical Officer of Ianthus, which is in 10 states, and we have licenses for about 68 dispensaries. We have 15 or 18 in Florida right now. We'll have 22 very shortly. I teach at UCLA and see patients there every week, but the reason I'm here is I have a passion for learning about cannabis through research. And what I am very concerned about is that the federal government has cannabis as a Schedule 1, which means it is a dangerous drug and has no medicinal purposes. But there are millions and millions of people in this world, and certainly in this country, who have gained an enormous amount from cannabis. I'm not pushing cannabis to become recreational, although I think it would be a reasonable thing to do, or to be used for treatment for any disease. I just want to learn what is in it so that those people, the 200 million Americans that have access to it and who use it for one purpose or another, have knowledge about whether or not it is valuable for their particular condition, symptom, or disease.
And I guess one of the things we're going around, and I've been in the healthcare business for a good number of years, is you always hear from skeptics of, well, there's really no research, because a lot of times people in the United States think research is only done in the United States. And there's research all over. But in order to get past those skeptics out there, the government has to allow research in the United States. Well, it'll help maintain the prominence of the product and be able to have people out there believe, although it's true, believe it even more because the research is done in the United States.
Well, this is the classic catch-22. The government officials, the politicians who are not necessarily informed but have the power, say that unless you can prove that cannabis is helpful in any particular condition, we will not allow it to be legal. And then they say, when we ask for funds to do that research, they say, well, it's illegal, so you can't do it. So they get you on both ends of the equation. And there are countries, for example, Israel, where it is legal and the entire system that cannabis impacts within the body, the ECS, the system, which was just discovered about 30-some years ago in Israel. That is, everyone knows about the blood system, the vascular system, or the neurologic system, the nerves, or the lymphatic system, lymph nodes, but no one even knew, even when I was in medical school and graduated in 1973, that there was even a system that impacted the method by which we stay rather on even keel. And when it is off, we can get symptoms, or whether physical or mental symptoms, that can be improved using a product from a plant.
No, I think it's important because what's happening is there are quite a few physicians out there that when a patient comes in, they're not sure what to do. And I'm not talking about the medical cannabis. I'm talking about the other thousands, hundreds of thousands of physicians that would really like to at least know about the product, that they can read about it, similar to when a pharmaceutical company comes in and throws research in front of you, and they're able to read it and figure out what needs to be done for the patient. We need that. We need that to convince the naysayers in this business. And it has to be a big mission for everybody, for every Fmcc in Florida, for all the different medical marijuana companies within the country, like yourselves, represent many, is to really push that, not so much like you're saying for the recreational, but allow research.
Yeah, I don't
just
understand.
Allow research.
Well, in certain areas of all parts of in this country, of America, science is no longer considered in the primacy of their thoughts, and that is that certain individuals will reject any form of science, and yet I have no understanding why knowledge is not being obtained, because knowledge will lead to either a better experience in life or a healthier experience in life. What is the problem with knowing whether or not a particular product, in this case cannabis, is of value or not? If you continue to put your head in the sand and reject even the opportunity to learn, that really prevents many people who might have value from the product to obtain it. And so it's fundamentally, I think, unfair to those who have medical or mental conditions which would be improved if we only were to allow cannabis to be researched. And once again, if it turns out that it doesn't work, or the risks are worse than the benefits, that's fine with me. I just want to know.
No, I agree, and I think part of it is pushing the government enough for them to consider this as they consider other legislation important. And
it shouldn't be politics. It should be scientific evidence.
Well, I got news for you. There would probably be, if it wasn't an illegal substance, a Schedule 1, I guarantee you there'd be a lot of people in the United States doing research on it.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, these, we were just talking about some of the major research facilities in the United States. They'd love to be able to do it.
I mean, cannabis is smoked, it's vaped, it is rubbed, it is inserted, it is swallowed, it is smoked, if I didn't say that, but it's never been researched. So there's nothing in the United States, no product in the United States, that people will willingly ingest in some manner without the FDA having done some kind of research to make sure that it is safe. Right. And yet, in this particular situation, because of politics, which are somewhat antiquated, maybe even not somewhat, but the politics prevent the knowledge of whether or not it is truly addicted or not. And if it is, then we have to be, increase how careful we are with it. Or if it is curative, or because we have screaming headlines all the time from various sources. Cannabis stop. There was just recently a headline saying that cannabis kills pancreatic cancer cells in rats. Well, that's the first step when you do human research. You do it in animals first. If that's true, I mean, I hope it is. Pancreatic cancer is a terrible disease. If that's true, then let's find out about it.
Right. No, and again, you're right. And part of it, like I said, the research that comes out from overseas is tough for some of the physicians to really accept.
True.
I mean, they did, no matter how good it is, no matter how deep it is. And was it Israel? They've been researching this, 30 years?
Yeah, well...
it's like crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, there's a man named Raphael Meshulam who discovered the system where cannabis works, and he has had lots of research ever since. And it was always a wonder, why does cannabis impact people in different ways? Well, it turns out that the ECS, the system, affects people and it goes throughout your entire body. Some portions affect the brain, some portions affect the stomach or the eyes or other things, and that's the kind of critical knowledge that is important in order to understand why it works or if it works.
Right, exactly. And
also, it has been discovered that the reason why opioids kill and marijuana does not, there's never been a death due to marijuana.
Right, exactly.
Ever. You cannot overdose on marijuana. So the reason is that opioids have receptors in the portion of the brainstem, that controls respirations. And if you overdose on opioids, it'll shut down the receptors and you will stop breathing. Whereas there are no receptors for marijuana in the brainstem. Therefore, it cannot kill you.
Well, again, that's people. It's interesting. I did a little research, being from the healthcare space, and it's interesting how many times you look at the emergency room reports, and when doctors, I guess, a little bit confused or whatever, they'll put cannabis as the reason that they're there. But you're right. There's no deaths. They may say it's from a can. Unfortunately, I think there may be an ICD-10 code out there that says overdose on cannabis. Believe it or not, I think there's something out there that does that, and there's no such thing, but it is.
Well, I mean, you can define anything you want. I mean, if you have, let's say, a little bit of any food.
That's right.
And you
can overdose on ketchup.
And you eat too much of it. It won't kill you.
Right.
It'll just make you want to throw up. Maybe,
that's right.
But it won't kill you.
Right.
So it's all, it's the way you define it, I suppose. But I am not proselytizing for cannabis to be available to every human being in America, or to be recreationally legal anywhere in the country. That's a political decision, and that's a decision based on what people want. But what I do believe is that people should understand the value, the benefit, or the risk of cannabis, and the only way that can be done is through medical research, opening up, unshackling our great research facilities and our great research doctors so that they can discover, for the purposes of all of us, whether or not it has any value.
Right. It's interesting. People's knowledge of what people want to learn, I find very interesting. There will be people who will go to different shows about learning about franchises that may not want to buy a franchise. It may be learn about investments. There may be anything else. But when you want to learn about a product that can help you, your family members, come to a cannabis show. Come to a medical cannabis show like this one. The panels we have, the panel that Dr. Box is on, let the experts tell you what it's about, and then from there make your own decision, and I guarantee you will carry that message to another 10 to 20 people. But if you don't come out and you rely on what I would call the news media that starts off anything, good, bad, or indifferent, well, the pot store or the weed store, why don't they call it what it is? It's a medical marijuana dispensary. So by having the right terminology, by creating the right terminology, coming out and learning is important. And that's what Dr. Box does. He teaches.
Well, yes, that's exactly what I do. I go around the country speaking about it. I go to the dispensaries, the Grow Healthy dispensaries, whether it's Grow Healthy or any of the names throughout the country, the parent company being Ianthus. I go around to each and every one of them to teach the dispensary people, the patient care representatives, what the product is, what is in it, and how to best help the person. Without that knowledge, we will not have a good group in a dispensary, and we will not be able to help the patient.
Right.
A knowledgeable patient, an educated patient is exactly what we want. And if it isn't for you, fine. But if it is for you, we only put out pure products. And what always amazes me is that people who would go to, let's say, Whole Foods, or only eat a organic celery or something like that, will get something off the street in a black market
that says it's organic, and you have no idea.
Not just that, they won't even bother saying it's organic if it's marijuana.
That's right.
They'll just simply say, "Hey, you want to smoke some or ingest some marijuana? I've got it for you without, over here. You don't have to go to that store, or you don't have to pay the taxes or whatever." And it's really a problem because in that situation, higher taxes force people into the black market.
Right.
It's really a sad situation which desperately needs being corrected, considering a vast majority of the population in the United States wants it to be both safe and available.
I have to tell you, over the past year, I think we've had one or two different articles on Dr. Boxer in our newspaper. I think we've done a couple of interviews with Dr. Boxer, and continue to look for more. I mean, you need to educate yourself. For those people that are maybe watching this, hopefully you're a supporter of the industry, but if not, send them the link to somebody who's not a supporter of the industry, and let them think about it. Give them some education and come out to an event. I think almost every event that I go into, Dr. Boxer is always on the panel, one of the physician panels, and you talk to the experts, and you're able to ask questions to the experts. And you got to be able to do that. I mean, this is a mission for everybody that's here. Besides having products to sell and things to sell, everybody's on a mission to be educated about the product. And like Dr. Boxer says, if it doesn't work and it's proven that it doesn't work, then it doesn't work. No problem. But at least let the research be done here, where the MDs and the DOs can look back and say, yeah, I'm looking at research from this facility, and it works. And that's one of the things that is important to be able to do.
Yeah, I think that's a great way of ending this particular conversation. I think it's the actionable item for those people that listen to this or passes on to others is that you should contact your legislators or your congresspeople or your senators and say, this is a product that demands being researched. Take it off Schedule 1, allow research to happen so we can once and for all discover and know whether or not it is a product that is worthwhile or not.
Right. Is it worthwhile for everybody? Is it worthwhile for some? But if you don't know that, again, we know because we're in the industry and we've done the research ourselves, but you got to convince the people in the United States with American research on the United States. And there's a lot more to be done. Israel started it. We need to be able to continue it in the United States.
There's something like 400 chemical compounds in a cannabis plant, and we've only scratched the surface.
Oh, absolutely. So every day there's something else coming out about it, what the good it does.
Yeah. Or, once again, if it does not do good, let's know that for sure.
Right.
That's all I want.
Right. When to use it, when not to use it. That would be a great thing.
Exactly. Thank you very much.
Dr. Boxer, thank you for coming on. Appreciate it. And look forward to seeing you speak later on.
Anytime. Thank you.